We all heard about Joey Diaz, but Joey Diaz isn't exactly what he portrays to be, and Rogan is enabling this predator to have a career. He's promoting him constantly, saying he's the funniest person of all time, blah, 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 blah. But let's go ahead and watch, and we're going to show another clip after this about just how crazy Joey Diaz can be.
There's so many different stories.
What are you going to do?
I'm not doing that.
We're not involved in them. I was never at Diddy's party. I don't even know the motherfucker.
We're out
I
here
don't want to know nobody.
telling jokes. Telling jokes.
Like I told you.
Having fun.
That's it.
Yeah.
Smoking, cracking jokes, making people...
That's
everything
it.
else is background music. I just want to do stand-up.
What a twisted web some folks weave.
So the latest episode of JRE features Joey Diaz. He's appeared on the podcast over 60 times, dating way back to 2010 when he made his first appearance on episode 25. He's obviously close friends with Joe Rogan. They originally met at the Comedy Store back in the 90s, and he truly is a unique character in the whole Rogan universe, right? Stand-up comedy tends to attract some pretty strange cats, and Joey Diaz is no exception. He immigrated to the US from Cuba with his parents. His dad passed away when he was 3 years old, and then his mum died as well when he was only 16. So it's no secret that he got up to no good as a teenager and then as a young adult. He eventually got arrested for kidnapping and aggravated robbery, and he went to prison on a 4-year sentence but was released after serving only 16 months. And it was actually in prison where he discovered stand-up comedy. Whenever the screen projector wasn't working during movie nights, he would perform stand-up routines for all the inmates. Even still, though, it would take him a few years more to build the courage to actually go and do stand-up in a club and pursue it as a career.
America's f***ing beautiful, man. Where else can a felon with 2 strikes? I got 2 strikes. My next strike is life. Right? They give you like 20 years if you have 3 strikes. I told him, suck my dick. Even when the feds are looking for me in 99 for that gun, I wasn't copping. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know, man. I'm not doing it. This is the path I'm taking. I don't know what, and I never got in trouble again, Joe. Never.
I just don't trust a guy like that. You know, Joey Diaz just seems like a slime ball to me. And apparently he is. I'm just not a big fan. Okay, let's be honest. I've never really had trouble with women. I'm really tall. Like, I'm already in the game, right? And I don't know. Okay, here's my philosophy. If someone doesn't like me, like if I'm pursuing a girl back when I was single, if someone didn't like me, and they told me, or I tried to talk with them and I got that vibe, you'd never see me again. I'd be so embarrassed that I put myself out there and got rejected that I literally could never face you again. So I have a hard time understanding how these people become sexual predators. Or if a girl isn't interested in you, if a girl doesn't give you that vibe or isn't reciprocating back, I just don't know how you could be a fucking creep and just keep going and pursuing these people. It's just wild. I just never understood it, but let's keep going.
So then it wasn't until the early 90s that he would really get into stand-up comedy and slowly build a name for himself over the following 20 years. It wouldn't be until 2016, though, that he would release his first comedy special called Socially Unacceptable. But it was back in the 90s that he would meet Joe Rogan and become very close friends with him. Rogan often comments that Joey's the funniest guy he knows. He absolutely loves him, which has definitely helped to put Joey on the map, especially with all his appearances on JRE. And so on the latest episode, he recalled how the comedy scene pretty much saved his life. He was stuck in a life of crime, he had addiction problems, and just generally lacked purpose and direction.
You know, comedy became... You need something to get you out of there.
Yes.
When you're at the store with guys working the door, how much were we getting? $25 a shift. She was paying me $25 on Sunday nights to work the door and $25 to MC. But you fall in love with what you're doing.
Yeah. And you know there's a path.
And there's a path. And when you start seeing other people rise, and you're stuck as a f***ing addict.
The reason why Adobe is able to do this is that they exist inside.
Hold on. I paused it and I hit play on another video I was watching. Okay, I just want to point out, I know this might start becoming a theme in my thing, but I noticed the arms. Does Joey Diaz have Tyrannosaurus Rex arms? Like, his arms are like this long, man. You know, like, they're like I'm just saying, just watch. I'm just pointing it out, just random fact. I wonder, like, because it says I instantly Googled his height, right? And it says he's 5'10", but you can't, dude, his arms look like half the size of regular arms. All right, just me.
Stuck. You don't know when to stop. I was stuck as an addict, and I got to being stuck as a fat dude.
Okay, and his head looks it looks like his body is like a miniature. Or is it just a camera? Dude, it's tripping me out. Watch. He looks like a miniature with a giant, he looks like a bobblehead.
18, 420. My wife was tying my shoelaces. You know how embarrassing that is?
Wow.
Not embarrassing that is, looking back at it now? People
Might have been the camera angle.
That's bullshit life, man.
I don't know.
There's so much out there, Joe. There's so and now that's what I'm trying to sell to my daughter. There's so much out there.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be until 2007 that he would kick his coke habit completely. It had pretty much controlled his life up until that point. He got divorced from his first wife in 91 and lost his relationship with his daughter as a result. But then he remarried in 2009 and had another daughter who he seems to put a lot of effort into making sure he calls her when he's on the road, he picks her up from school, helps her with homework and all that warm and fuzzy stuff. So he's definitely turned his life around from all the crime and drugs that he grew up with. But over and above all, he credits his comedy family for providing the backbone to lift himself out of that life and make something of himself.
Family is family. Comedy family is comedy family.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what these motherfuckers will never, ever understand.
The people that don't get it will not get that because they haven't experienced it. But we're lucky.
To cheer for each other.
Yeah.
And that's...
See, the thing is, you have to listen to that. They'll never understand. The thing that I never understand about it is I know it will never understand. Y'all, I get it. Y'all are like a mafia. You cover each other's sins and never acknowledge them ever again. And when someone else acknowledges them, you make sure to take care of them. And that, like, the fact that Joe Rogan, I get you could turn your life around, but you'll see this clip later. I don't know how much he's turned his life around when you see this other clip. And it's just kind of crazy. Hold on. It's just kind of crazy to be saying all of this stuff on the air. Like, you'll see this other clip. It's just crazy. And it's like, has this guy really changed? Or are we putting on a front for everybody? Let's look at this next part here.
That's what being a comic is about, is also giving love to these people and going, you know what, you're doing good, man.
Yeah.
And just like Rogan, he takes pride in giving back to the comedy community. Rogan himself is in legacy mode with his comedy club in Austin. He's credited with reviving stand-up comedy in the United States and giving it a whole new look away from LA and New York, which has become dominated by the elites and suits from large corporations calling all the shots. Now the comedy scene is a lot more democratic. Rogan's all about pushing the funniest people that come across his radar. He's got no agenda. He just wants to help the funniest comics find an audience. Here's the thing, though. Nah, just let me show you.
She's lucky she paid $100. I had girls sucking my dick and giving me coke from Chewy. You think I'm fucking kidding you? Fuck yeah, you gotta suck my dick to get up in the belly room. I'll make a call for you. That's the fucking gateway into coming to Hollywood. Everybody knows that.
How many girls did you have do that?
Oh, 20 of them. I had this little blonde open mic chick dog that used to come up to the comedy store with a 20 and just take me up to the belly room and suck my dick and go do her set. She was tremendous.
Wow.
She finally freaked out. When she got to Hollywood, bro, she was beautiful. And when she left, she had dirty, her nails were dirty. And then a year later, she wrote me a letter to the comedy store. You sucker, you broke me. I kept shooting sperm balls in her fucking ear ball. Every time she went down, vaya pa la pinga.
So if you weren't...
That's so wild that you'd brag to your friends about violating a woman. I guess there's a whole world out there that I have trouble understanding. And I guess people don't have shame, right? The things that I've done of wrong, like, I know you don't carry it with you, but when you think back, like, and you think about yourself, like you still carry a lot of shame around, right? You carry a lot of shame, and I just don't understand how these people, like even Joe Rogan laughing and clapping and not stopping the conversation, and even him not clipping that out of the podcast and allowing it to go up there, says, I bet Rogan's like this too. You know, we've heard the comment from Brendan Schaub that Rogan's slinging dick. There's another crazy. There's just so many crazy theories out there about these men being promiscuous outside of their relationships, and then just how bad they were. Like Joey Diaz. I mean, this is pretty horrendous. You know, just abusing women. It's pretty horrendous that they all took pride in that. I don't know about Redband. Redband, I don't know when this was, but isn't this around the time, didn't Redband, when does he get kicked out? Hold on, let me look over here. When did Redband year kicked off Rogan? In 2013. So this is 2011. I don't know why Redband didn't say anything either. Oh man, dude, every time I look deeper into this stuff, it hurts my heart, man. I get we all mess up, but just the way that the entertainment industry treats women is crazy. And like, I know people are like, want to put all these kind of theories into left, right, or being woke. I don't think this is being woke, left or right. This is just crazy that this guy had girls sucking his dick, I guess at the Comedy Store, so that, you know, I don't know. Wild.
Able to follow there. This was way back in 2011, less than 2 years after the first JRE episode went live. And Joey Diaz was telling Joe Rogan, and the producer at the time, Brian Redban, who's now part of Kill Tony, about how he used to coerce young female comics into performing favors for him, and in turn he would give them access to the Belly Room, which is part of the Comedy Store in LA, through some of his contacts. He also said that one female comic in particular would later write to him complaining that he broke her after getting washed up and spat out by Hollywood years later. Now, that's obviously a clip that most Joey Diaz fans will find difficult to watch and would perhaps prefer to forget about, but unfortunately things get worse. You see, for some reason, Joey has a fascination with predators and predatory behavior, and he likes to discuss it openly on podcasts. Back in 2020, he was on JRE, he was explaining to Rogan how dirty the LA scene is, how corrupt it's become, and as more and more information comes out about the things that have been going on there over the years, the picture has become clearer. And he brought up a specific example of just how rotten LA is, except what he describes is almost exactly what he confessed to just 9 years earlier on the exact same podcast.
It's just disgusting people out here.
Yeah.
This is, you know, between the Big Rom documentary, did you see that one?
I didn't see that.
That filthy animal getting women to suck that 90-degree weather, 6 yoga session. That's just cruelty to animals. You could put you in jail for just sucking that dick. You know, Harvey, all that shit happens here.
So like I said, Joey seems to have this deep fascination with predatory behavior, even after admitting that he himself engaged in similar behavior with over 20 women during the 90s and early 2000s. He even went into detail on JRE back in 2018, giving Harvey Weinstein strategic advice on how to get off his charges based off what he would do in the same situation. And what I found so interesting about all of this is how he automatically identified with Harvey Weinstein. Rogan actually asks him why he thinks Weinstein would do this, and Joey basically explains that it goes back to his own experiences living around criminals and being one himself.
It's very interesting where this Harvey Weinstein case is going to go. Right now, he has Benjamin Braff as an attorney. And if you see what happened, Benjamin Braff pushed for a dismissal, and he didn't get it. The lawyer said, the judge said a trial date. Harvey Weinstein's going to go throw more money to pay off time Harvey's going to go for time. Then he's going to fire Benjamin Braff and show up with 2 women, primarily 1 black and 1 Asian, or 1 white and 1 Asian. And this is when this trial is going to get very interesting.
How do you know he's going to do all this stuff?
Because I know this is what I would do. I know if you come to me and you go, I'm getting busted for this, what do I do? Because of how I grew up around those people, this is what you do. So I'm going to go in there with either a black woman, an Asian woman, or a white woman. My first 2 choices are a black and an Asian woman.
You want to get the diversity
I
angle?
want to get the diversity angle, and I want to get that you're saying that because you're a black woman, Chinese woman. What I'm trying to stare at. Did you ever really watch The People versus O.J. Simpson?
No, I didn't.
Very interesting.
But it's funny how Joe Rogan, on the other hand, is so disgusted by guys like Harvey Weinstein, even after laughing uncontrollably at his
Look,
buddy
I'm not
Joe.
a chef in the kitchen.
Hey, hold on.
They're going to be serving up
They
nothing
keep
burgers.
playing. They keep playing all this stuff. Hold on a second here. I want you to look up here. This is weird. There's a picture of Ari Shaffir and I think Bobby Lee. What is this all about? What does this text say right here? Oh man, I'd love to know what that says.
Joey Diaz's open confession years before. So let me just clarify something before I move on and show you this next clip. I'm not suggesting that Joey Diaz is the same type of person as Harvey Weinstein. I'm only going off his own words from 2011, which I'll discuss in more detail towards the end. But the point of showing you this is to point out the hypocrisy of somebody as powerful as Joe Rogan, who laughs off his own friend's predatory behavior, but then clutches his pearls at how someone like Harvey Weinstein was able to get away with his actions for so many years without so much as a whisper.
How
Get
many
away
years
with it
is
for
he
so long.
doing?
20-something years.
Is it?
Nobody would do that.
20-something years.
Yeah.
And might be more, right? They got cases
Well, there's way
in
more
LA.
cases. Yeah, there's way more cases. This is just what he's been convicted for.
Right.
I mean, he apparently was behaving like that for decades.
So
and
you're telling me
decades.
nobody knew?
They knew. They all knew. That's what's crazy is it's worked into his fucking contract.
It's amazing.
It's
But you know what else?
They're all complicit. And there's a thing called diffusion of responsibility, where there's too many people involved. You don't feel like you're responsible. You don't feel like you know, that's what, when they say it's easier to assault someone in front of 100 people than it is to assault someone in front of one person.
Yeah.
Because one person might step in and stop it, but 100 people will sit around and go, someone's got to stop this.
Gotcha. You know,
I think, from what I understand,
I don't
part
think
of
he
it.
needed
I
to
think
do
that's part
this.
of it.
I think it's his ego, and
I think that's too.
like
I
Bill
think that's it,
Cosby
too.
was the same thing.
Yes. It becomes a pathology, and I think there's also a thing about power. You know, it's a power thing to have power over people.
Sure.
For me, this is where Rogan starts to fall apart. He's happy to provide a running commentary on Harvey Weinstein and all of his crimes. He's even brought up some disease that Weinstein has that led to deformities in his junk region. If you've ever heard him talk about it, you'll know what I mean. But my point is, as a basic concept where there's a guy in a position of power and young women who are impressionable and desperate for fame and attention, Rogan makes it clear exactly what his position is.
The casting couch in Hollywood, if you stop and think about it, right? You've got all these women that want to be in films, they want to be stars. Then you got these guys that can actually help them, make them stars, but they want something. And then you set up this dynamic that's existed since, the fucking 20s.
Imagine what it was like back then.
Oh, my God.
Jeez.
Well,
So is that not exactly what his buddy Joey Diaz confessed to, even bragged about on his very own podcast? Like, what am I missing here, right? Was Joey just doing a bit when he said all that stuff years ago? And if it was a bit, where was the funny part? See, this is what I'm sick of when it comes to Rogan and his circle jerk of comedy brain groupies. A lot of these guys made a name for themselves by calling out the establishment for putting up barriers and controlling access to their audiences. That's classically what Hollywood did, right?
The nipple sweat must be a thing for Rogan because you can see the nipple sweat here too. Sorry, just pointing that out. Back to the show.
Rogan smashed that bubble into pieces and showed how you could go directly to your audience without all the middlemen and the suits clipping the ticket. And he brought his friends along for the ride. The problem is, as most of my regulars will know from my extensive coverage of the Rogan universe, these guys are no different to the establishment that they've replaced. And it's not about politics or culture wars or anything like that. It's about double standards when it comes to the new elites versus the old elites, covering up and ignoring their own behavior, while at the same time pointing out how bad guys like Diddy and R. Kelly and Harvey Weinstein are. The list goes on, right? We saw this with the Bobby Lee Tijuana story, and then all the times he went on morning talk shows and harassed the female hosts, and pretty much got away with it. Why? Because he's a comedian and it's just a bit, apparently. I guarantee you the same thing would happen with Joey Diaz. If he ever had to actually answer for what he alleges he did, he'd end up claiming that he was just doing a bit, it was for the camera, he was embellishing a story, and that's what he does, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, they'll sit there and tell us how bad Hollywood is and how the system breeds this sort of behavior when that's literally where they came from.
Yeah, you gotta.
You have to think about this. It's just wild. You know, they're pointing the finger at other people because they don't want it pointed at him. And the thing that I think about that will be completely insane is you notice that all these things are coming out about Rogan's friends, right? You know, you have all these things, these bad things people do, and all of Rogan's friends, one by one, they come out. And the thing that is super crazy is that there's people that know about Rogan's things. And when Rogan's things come out, that's going to be pretty wild. But somehow he's keeping it under wraps so far. So far.
They got up in the belly room. I'm making a call for you. That's the fucking gateway into coming to Hollywood. Everybody knows that.
How many girls did you have do that?
Oh, 20 of them.
Yeah.
Cat Williams called it at the beginning of the year that there was going to be some pretty crazy revelations this year, and all this stuff was going to come out, and it's going to shock everyone. So far, it feels like he was right, and it seems people are becoming less and less willing to excuse this kind of behavior. And just remember, you can't use the excuse that these things happened years and years ago and therefore it doesn't matter. There are some limitations on civil actions, and a lot of what Harvey Weinstein did and Bill Cosby did, even the current investigation into P. Diddy, a lot of those things happened years ago and even decades ago. I mean, look what happened to Louis C.K. He got dropped from all of his sponsors, all his deals got cancelled, and compare what he admitted to doing to what Joey Diaz admitted to himself. I don't know, guys. I'm a fan of Joey Diaz just as much as the next guy. I think he's pretty funny on podcasts, but not so much on stage, which seems to be the way with most of Rogan's buddies. But
look at his arm. His arms are short, right? I don't know. You tell me.
We've got to be consistent with this stuff. Being funny isn't an excuse for being a predator. He's claiming he found the right path and he loves his comedy family and all of that. So why is he bragging about how he would use and abuse the very same comedy family when he was on his way up, to the point where he apparently broke some young comic? Anyway, that's my take on the whole Joey Diaz situation. Let me know in the comments below what you think about all of this, and if you're not a regular of this channel, hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.
There you go. That was Podcast Cringe, the truth about Joey Diaz. Go subscribe to them, like the video. They do a great job, so I don't have to do a great job. I can just watch their videos. So I'm very grateful for them, and they do this way better than I do. So many of you are sitting here wondering, okay, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? You know, Joey Diaz, what do we do with this guy, huh? You know, you could go, that was years ago, people change. Yeah, you're right. I believe in people changing. Sometimes, you know, sometimes you do thing one time, sometimes it takes a couple times, and then there's a thing that you've done, and it's just a thing you do, right? But Joey Diaz went to jail, and he says he's got his life around. So I just want to watch a little bit of this, and this refers to Redbar. And what Joey Diaz said to Redbar. This is from Cambodian River Pig, Joey Diaz insane meltdown about Redbar. All right, here we go. This is within 2 years, and the reason I'm showing this is, has this guy changed? Well, you watch this and you tell me.
Then Jimmy told me he smoked the Florentine. He smoked the Trips. And then I called Sammy Trips. Oh, my God. What the fuck happened with our boy from Chicago? Yeah, don't say his fucking idiotic name. He's a fucking... This guy is hiding.
He hasn't been on for like a year, right? On YouTube.
He's hiding. I didn't know he was hiding. You listen, guys. He said some shit about me. It bothered me for like a day. Then I realized who this guy was. I realized that he was attacking Rogan, Segura, Bert Kreischer, Theo.
Damn. Am I going to get one of these? I mean, they've come after me a little bit. They have. But is this what they do? I think we're discovering by making these videos, people that make these videos, we're discovering who these people really are. And maybe that's why we keep continuing to make the videos, because yeah, you see stuff on our videos, but we really feel it. These people are trying to take our freedoms away. And it's insane. It's really insane. And we're making these videos like, don't buy that bullshit they're selling you. This is who they really are.
Dalia. I mean, when you look at this guy's videos and you see this, listen, I sit here sometimes and I say some shit about people, but I don't cross the line. Not here. If I'm going to cross the line, I'll cross the line to your fucking face.
No, you cross the line by bragging about molesting women. That's what you cross the line, bro. You know, our line, like you come say shit to my face. Look at you. What you gonna do? I'm gonna ball you up in 2 seconds. Come say shit to my face, Joey. Come out here. You ain't scary, dog. You ain't scary. Not for 1 second. Not for 1 second are you scary.
I'm not gonna cross the line on here. I'd rather cross the line. I don't want you to call me and go, hey, man, I heard you were talking shit about me on the podcast. No. I'll see you at the comedy club, and I'll tell you what I was saying. You know, when you watch his videos, at first I thought they were
get out of here.
But then they're sad. They're sad because here's a...
I'm getting wound up, man. This guy is like acting like a tough guy. He ain't no fucking tough guy. He went to jail. Who cares? This guy is not a tough guy. He's got to hire somebody else. He's got to bring a weapon. If this guy, hand on hand, this guy ain't doing shit. Yeah, he does jujitsu, but look at this guy. I know at the jiu-jitsu gym, there are tons of these guys at the jiu-jitsu gym. You can't roll. You have to be really careful when you roll with them. And they're a higher belt than you, and you easily put them in like a Kimura, or you take their back, you throw your hooks in, you know, you grab a collar and you start pulling that choke, a collar choke or whatever, right? These guys are like, oh, stop. So you don't choke them out. And they're like, okay, I just wanted to show you that you should have done this for it to work better. They do shit like that. That's who this guy is. This guy'd get balled up in seconds. You know what I would do with him? I'd Uchimata his ass so fucking fast. Right into an arm bar. Get out of here, Joey Diaz.
White kid that had everything going for him in his life. He's got rich parents. His family's got money.
I don't know anything about that.
He sits on a thing all day. Again, with his white privilege and his little bottle of fucking whiskey. And he thinks it's cool, and his wife or his girlfriend, whoever that is, and he thinks it's cool saying the things he's saying to people. One day, before we locked the podcast up, before the church went down, one day I was going through some emails. Like, this is just whatever. The ones you get on Facebook that don't come to you. The private messages. Yeah, the private messages. And I got a message from some dude saying, listen, don't threat this fucking guy. We're going to kill him and all this shit. Listen, I could go back down. If you want, we'll get a computer fucking expert to find the thing on my Facebook, and you can find it, and you can read it, and you can see who the fuck sent it. I didn't know who sent it. You know those Facebook things that have no picture on them and shit? So one day I'm with Lee there, and I say the Malanucci brothers are looking for him. I don't even know who the Malanucci brothers is. It's like me saying the Staminki brothers. You know what I'm saying? This idiot ran with it. He Googled the Malanucci brothers, and Diaz is fucking, gonna kill me. Listen, guy, again, I don't have the intelligence of Joe Rogan. I don't know what's going on in politics. I don't know what's going on in Russia. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
That's like, he talks like a wise guy, like a criminal. He's smart enough to say he doesn't know, but he knows. He's smart enough to say, like, I don't have my hands on it, but he's calling brother. It might not have been the Malanucci brothers, but it was the Tucci brothers. You know what I mean? Like, he's calling, he's a wannabe gangster. He's a former criminal, and he's going to act like that. He's going to act like that. Watch, it's going to come out. He's trying to play dumb, but the more he talks about this, the more angry he gets.
But I do know one thing. I know people, and I know how life works.
Here we go. He's going to tell us
When
now.
I said that about this fucking moron in Chicago.
Here it comes. It's coming.
I said it as a throwaway line. It's like the idiot that said, debunk the police, whatever, defund the police. And I was like, that's a great idea. And all of a sudden, fucking people started hitting them in the head with bats. It's not a good idea, but it's too late. You fucking were jumping up and down saying defund the police or whatever. I just said like a throwaway line. I'm going to sue him. You know, every 2 weeks I get a fucking call from a friend of mine or Theo, and we just goof on this guy. We just laugh. It's not even because if you have any street knowledge, if you know the way life works at all, he's gonna get his eventually. I don't have.
Wait, is this where the him not knowing? I don't know any Malanucci brothers. You know, I don't know a thing, man. Get away from me. You know, and then he's like, but this is how it's gonna work. That's why you could tell he's thinking about it. And just a minute ago, he says every whatever, I don't know, day or every week I get a call from these boys and we just talk about Redbar. We just talk about Redbar. This guy's on your mind, dude. This guy's on your mind. And I bet you what he says next is going to show you how much he hasn't thought about it.
Have to do anything. Listen, if you think I'm going to pay somebody to go get you, did you see what happened in Miami yesterday? Or 2 days ago on fucking Friday? A dentist got 8 years for fucking, I think he got 8 years or 4 years or 5 years for planning his brother-in-law's hit. Okay, he paid guys money, and it happened 11 years ago. They did the hit, everything went well. Those guys go out into the world, and that's an ace in the card now. If they get arrested, they always have an out. I took a contract from Joey Diaz and went to beat up some guy. I would never fucking pay anybody. I'll do it myself because dead men don't tell tales. You know, unless you send them and when they come back, you shoot them both. That's an extra 2 murders. I'm not in the mood right now for 2 fucking murders on my jacket.
Why would you even bring up murdering people? Why, you know, if you don't think about this stuff, how I don't know that the dentist, I didn't hear the story about the dentist whacking somebody. Like, that's kind of stuff you find out because you're thinking about it. I don't know.
I don't even care about the fucking guy. But people were starting to get concerned, and I get a call every couple of weeks from somebody going, this motherfucker's going to go down, this guy. And he insulted a non-comic. That was the worst move in his life. If I put any money on who was going to hunt this idiot down, it's the one non-comic. And I'm not going to say who it is. You have to figure it out since you talk so much shit about everybody. Life is fucking weird. And
it's probably Elon Musk. And I made a video about Elon Musk. You know, this is something that you don't anticipate because you like all these people want free speech, right? And so you criticize them, which you should. You could criticize me. I get comments all the time criticizing me. And most of the time I allow those comments unless there's just like insulting or like being critical of me, and then there's just being an asshole, and in that case I just ban you. You know, I don't want any of that energy in my life. You could be constructive, but if you're an asshole, you know, just go, right? And that's about the extent that I think about it. I don't really think about it that much. I know people are going to criticize me. I know people are going to make fun of me. I know that's going to happen in my comments. And a lot of the times I like making comments that make those people keep commenting because it helps the algorithm, right? I mean, it doesn't really bother me. It's expected. And if you insulted my family, my friend, I would just think, okay, that you're just trying to get something. Like, none of this really bothers me. But these guys are all talking about people taking them out, which is wild because the only reason you would be that aggressive is because you have stuff to hide. Right? And if you have stuff to hide, these guys have stuff to hide that's worth millions and millions and millions. And in Joe Rogan's case, could be $1 billion one day. So these people are taking people out because they have so much to hide. And this is just all the tells. This is all the tells that people will tell you if they're guilty. And Joey Diaz is very good at that.
He's talked a lot of shit about a lot of people. And finally, Tripoli hired an investigator and found him in Tucson hiding. Knocked on his condo. He was out there for 10 hours, Tripoli. Tripoli's going to kill him. And the guy wouldn't come down. I give him credit for not calling the police, you know what I'm saying? Because a typical white privilege move is to call the police. I didn't do nothing. Yeah, I know you didn't.
What do you mean? This is absolutely insane. So Sam Tripoli, a comic, hires a private investigator and then goes and stalks Redbar for 10 hours. And this guy's like, I'm glad he didn't call the police. Bro, your homie is stalking someone because he has a very sensitive ego because Redbar talks shit about him. Like, you could pick sides. I'm not picking sides. You know, I'm not doing this because I'm a big Redbar fan. I barely know anything about Redbar. I've listened to his shows. I think some of the stuff he says is hilarious. So I'm not like going, oh, just because I'm a friend of Redbar or a fan, right? I'm picking. No, dude. This guy said he was a predator and made women give him blowjobs for access to the belly room. And now he's supporting a guy that goes and stalks somebody, finds his address, and then goes stands outside his house. Like, come on, dog. What is this?
But here's the problem. When the cops do come, somebody's going to show them all the videos that you said and all the shit you talked about. And
it doesn't matter. You're allowed to talk shit about people. These people talk shit about people. Joe Rogan is one of the biggest shit talkers in media. What do you mean? Nothing that Redbar has said is going to make the cops go, so they said negative comments about you, right? Yeah, he did this. He deserves to go to jail. Well, Mr. Tripoli, you're stalking this guy's property outside. I think you're in trouble, you know?
Let me tell you something. It's not going to be a good day for you. I feel sorry for you. I'm not mad at you. I'm not angry. I don't wish nothing bad at you.
Yeah, you do.
I knew this is going to happen to you.
Yeah, you do.
You're a fucking moron. Your father gave you too much money. You're a failed fucking comic. You're a failure as a comic. The only thing you could basically do is get on a fucking computer and say lies about people and talk shit about people. Really, bro? So now you had to leave your home in Chicago and hide in Tucson. And let me tell you something. If you don't think I called my ex-buddies that own Bugsies, that fucking Mexican cartel down there that used to eat bugs. Remember, I used to go to a club named Bugsies in Tucson. It took a fucking, if you walked in there with a scorpion, you got in for free, and you got like 10 drinks and whatnot. Let me tell you something, motherfuckers. Life has a weird way of...
So right there, he's admitting to calling the cartel. Why would you call the cartel? If you didn't have a problem with the guy. If the cartel gets involved, they're ruthless, man. That, you just said you didn't wish harm on somebody, but you called those guys. That's absolutely wild. This is absolutely wild. How is he allowed to publish this?
Fucking shitting on you when you least expect it. This guy, did you need this? You're living in Tucson, hiding over a podcast?
Yeah. You're calling the motherfucking cartel on the dude. Yeah. You got a guy flying out to stalk him at his house. So, yeah. Dude, I haven't watched all of this. I've seen clips and like I'm watching it now. I didn't plan to. But I don't know if I'll watch the whole thing, but the thing is, it's like, this is so fucking insane to put out there and threaten somebody in this manner. It is so insane.
Think about that. Think about how bad your life is that you're hiding in Tucson over a... Now where are you going to go next? Because now we got your number. Tripoli got you with a fucking investigator. What are you going to do now, man? And for me, I'm not here to wish you bad. I'm not here to tell you.
What? Dude, this is so fucking insane. We've got your number? I don't wish you harm on you, but we got your motherfucking number. Bro.
I'm going to hunt you down. That's not even going to happen. I'm concerned with my wife and my daughter and what's going on here. Even though you had people call my wife and threaten my daughter. What? You don't think I knew it was you. We traced back all the numbers. Even though you said things about my friend's daughter, even though you said things about Rogan's daughter, you were talking about kids and you were saying a lot of weird stuff about people, bro. So this is what you got coming to you. So now what?
Wait, he just said he didn't wish him any harm or anything and he wasn't going to do anything. Let's see.
Really dazzled me, and what people really need to know is how big of a pussy you were that you didn't even come downstairs to meet Tripoli. Listen to me. You're going to have to meet these guys eventually and talk it out, pay them off, get your dad to send them a check. I know you were going to sue me and call the authorities.
Hey, so if anyone in the Rogan sphere is really mad at me, we don't need to get gangster. That's not fun. That's not fun to nobody, right? That'll just get people in trouble, people, you know, disappearing and people going to jail, right? Here's a problem. Any of y'all got a problem with me? Since y'all so rich, you can buy me a plane ticket and wherever you are, the closest gym, jiu-jitsu, boxing, whichever, we could go there and you could have it out with me. That's what it is. If you so mad, we don't need to get gangster about nothing, baby. We don't need to get gangster about nothing. We just meet at a gym. I'm going to fold you up real quick. I'm going to fold you up. The only one that might be a problem is Lil Rogan because he's got that black belt. But I'm going to put this 275 pounds on this motherfucker and we'll see what happens. I'm not stupid. Jiu-jitsu works, my friend. I've had many of black belts that were short strangle me. That's just how jiu-jitsu is. You don't win them all, especially when people know how to use jiu-jitsu. It's a powerful tool. But I'm saying, if these videos really hurt your feelings, I'll fold you up, Joey D. Especially you, Joey. I'll smack the shit out of you, Joey. Oh, man. We'll get on those mats, and I'll embarrass you. And then I'm going to upload it on YouTube. Uncle Joey, big bad Uncle Joey, gets folded up like a motherfucking pretzel. Big bad Joey. He's going to be, he's going to have to go to the doctor afterward. He's going to be in so much pain. Big bad Joey. Yeah, and you know what, Joey? Like at your jiu-jitsu school, you ain't going to be able to stop it either. You ain't going to be able to stop it. There ain't no, you won't. You won't be like, oh, let me, no, I'm going to show you, baby. Well, you could do it. We could do a gi, no gi. We could do judo gi, but that's more for me to grab onto. You're going to want to get a real small, tight gi. You know, so you minimize my chances. Anything loose, especially in the stand-up. I'm going to grab that collar. I'm going to grab that wrist. I'm going to use that kazushi. Trip you. Ostotogari. I'm ready for you, Joey Diaz. Don't hire no gangster or cartel. Meet me at the gym, baby.
You did nothing. You did nothing because you got nothing to stand on. You're a heartless soul of a fucking man. And I'll tell you what, how it's going to go down. It's going to go down very simple. See, anybody who serves a dish correctly is going to give you time to breathe. They're going to let you settle down in Tucson and fucking go back to Chicago and think the coast is clear. And when you least expect it one night, you're going to run out of that fucking whiskey you drink and you're going to go to the liquor store. And there's going to be a guy there with a bat. And he's going to hit you across the fucking head, maybe hit you across the legs, maybe hit you across the back. You're going to wake up with blood all over you and go to a fucking hospital. And you know how bad you're going to feel in that hospital? After somebody hit you in the fucking head with a bat and you got stitches. And God forbid if your wife is with him, because your wife had a good time on there too, laughing. Remember how they made Rogan be guilty for laughing at my joke? Your wife is guilty of laughter. So if she's with you, I'm sure they're going to bust her in the fucking mouth too. So is this what you really want out of your life? Is this what was this podcast talking shit about people really worth you hiding your fucking living on a lamb over saying shit to people? Chris D'Elia, you went off on people.
That was about as far as I wanted to go. He threatened okay, he threatened beating up his wife. So this is the point I was trying to make. If Joey Diaz of 2011 bragging about giving blowjobs in I think this was 2022, he's still bragging about hurting women, just in a different form. So Joey Diaz hasn't changed at all. Joe Rogan hasn't changed at all. In fact, none of these Rogan Sphere people have changed at all. And that is what it is. Show me who you are, and I'll believe you. And Joey Diaz, I believe you. And if you got a problem with me believing you, you heard me. Meet me at the gym, and I'll fold your ass up like a pretzel. Because you ain't shit. You never been shit. And you certainly aren't going to do shit to me on the mat, brother. Peace, and have a good one.